Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, welcome. I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate it.
So Nelson has been running Exmerce for what, 14 years now?
Yes, 14 years. So I started the company in 2004, and we operate a business trade exchange providing bartering services for small, medium-sized businesses. In Calgary, we represent a little over 400 companies, and by helping these small businesses leverage barter, it's a way for them to reach out to new customers, save cash, and turn any sort of excess inventory or capacity into profit.
Great. So before we continue and dive into Nelson's story and his expertise, a quick message from our sponsors. Our first sponsor is Syndication, which is a video production company that I started. We do video production and online marketing for businesses of all sizes, ranging from solopreneurs to Fortune 500 companies. Our second sponsor is Gravity Cafe. They've been gracious enough to give us their space. The coffee's awesome. They have live music 3 nights a week. The beer's great. It's an awesome place to come hang out. And then our third sponsor is Limitless Furniture. They provided these super comfy chairs. They are also here in Inglewood, and were kind enough to let us use these for our show. Another sponsor of the Ambition Project is BusinessLink. BusinessLink is Alberta's entrepreneurial hub. They are a nonprofit organization that helps people navigate the steps towards starting their own businesses. Just because you're in business for yourself doesn't mean you're in business by yourself. BusinessLink's team of in-house startup experts are there to support you all along the way. Our next sponsor is the Better Business Bureau. Your BBB helps businesses build visibility, credibility, savings, leads, and community through BBB accreditation while funding free marketplace services with more than 1 million instances of service to consumers every year. Visit bbb.org/Calgary to learn more today. So how did Exmerce get started?
So the whole idea for Exmerce was, I think when I wanted to start some sort of business, I looked at kind of like my skill sets, what I was good at and what I enjoyed doing. And, I'm very much a people person. I enjoy the thrill of sales, I suppose. And so at the time, eBay was pretty much, it was pretty much at its pinnacle. And so I wanted to create a site where consumers could trade junk for junk, or maybe, old skis for, a bike or something. And I thought, what about businesses? I'm sure a lot of businesses have inventory or time that they could trade. And so did a bit of research, and I didn't realize there's a whole industry called the barter industry. I jumped at the opportunity, at the time, had no kids, wasn't married, so I'm like, hey, I'll try this thing called being an entrepreneur.
Very cool. It's been an adventurous 14 years, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did you grow Exmerce over that time? What things did you need to do to build a client base as big as you have? Because you have roughly, 400 businesses in it now?
Yeah, a little over 450 companies. That's currently part of the community. I think the big thing was, going into meetings and, just having that confidence. Important thing was networking, just getting out there and trying to touch as many people as I could. And again, I think it's very important to believe in your idea, and again, it goes back to that confidence for myself.
Can you explain how Exmerce works?
Right.
Barter can be a little bit confusing to people. It was to me when I first got started. It's almost like its own ecosystem, its own currency practically. So how does barter work between businesses?
Right. So, when most people think of barter, they naturally think of direct one-to-one trade. So let's say videography services in exchange for a new website. Now through Exmerce, we use a virtual currency called trade dollars to value products and services. So whatever you as a business would normally charge out there in the cash world, that's what you would charge in trade dollars through a network. So we essentially help to sell our members' offerings to the network, and whenever a product or service gets sold, that business would earn the trade dollars. Their account gets credited in trade dollars, enabling them to now start purchasing other products and services with any one of the 450 plus members.
So from an admin side, can that pose some challenges, like if people aren't spending their money, or What kind of challenges come along with having that
for
currency?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So when considering participation, we always tell our members, there's two things to consider when considering participation. One is, can the barter exchange drive you new business? And on the flip side is, what can I buy? Because you never want to be in a position where it's sell, 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 sell. You're like, oh, geez, I got like 50,000 Exmerce dollars in my account, but have nowhere to spend it. So for us, it's very important to find a good balance between helping you to sell, but also helping you to buy as well. So it's really about identifying where is it in your business or personal life, where are you spending cash, how do you leverage this virtual currency to now offset some of those cash expenses.
Right. Yeah. You guys have been incredibly helpful, you and Kirsten, in helping me find things to use my barter dollars on. So that's been great. Now, you have a background in corporate sales. I believe you mentioned you worked for Disney previously.
Yeah. So that was a pretty awesome stint. So after university, I had the opportunity to work for Walt Disney World in Orlando. It was the food and beverage industry, and to be honest, I quickly realized the food and beverage or hospitality industry just wasn't for me. But besides that, the experience itself was first class. I met people from all around the world. And it was my first time, away from home, so that was quite the experience.
What did you do exactly at Disney?
Yeah, so I was the Asian lumberjack. I worked at Epcot, and so they rotate you around different stations at Epcot. So there's the restaurant, there's the popcorn stand, there's a beaver, like a hut where you made beaver tails, and at the time, I was 2023, and so again, it was just more of a life experience for me, and just seeing how Disney operated on such, again, a first class in terms of the service and guest experience. That was pretty cool.
Do you have any stories from your time there that really stand out, good or bad? Anything crazy happen?
You know what? I think it was just the experience overall, meeting people from around the world, whether it's guests or some of the other colleagues or coworkers, that I either roomed with or worked with, and that was, that was pretty cool. I think that experience helped me to be able to adapt to different situations and different people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Before I started my business, I sold Cutco knives for 3 years, and I always attribute that sales experience to a huge part of my success in my business, because it really teaches you how to engage with people and how to sell your services, and the interpersonal skills from sales are huge.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
So throughout your time and over the last 20 years, you've built a really strong personal brand, and I think that's something more and more people are looking to do now. They're realizing the importance of that. What have you done to build that personal brand? Because I believe a big portion of the success of Exmerce is because of that.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I think the most important thing, I suppose, when you're looking to build your company is identifying and knowing what it's kind of like your core values, what's in here. And those values really, I believe, are an extension of your business. So in building Exmerce, I'm a firm believer in running my business with integrity, treating people with respect. Customer service in our business is huge. So it always goes back to, how would I like to be treated? We try to provide that excellent level of service to our clients. I treat everyone like they're my own family, like you're like my brother. But I think what it comes down to is just those core values, and I truly believe those values, you want to incorporate those values into your business.
So what effect do you believe that's had on the loyalty of the clients in Exmerce?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, absolutely. So it transcends to not just me, but the team or the staff that I bring on board as well. I'm looking for those people that share similar values and ethics as myself. It creates a stronger bond and community that we can build and grow our business.
Along the way, mostly while you've run Exmerce, you've taken on some other ventures. Not all of them have been quite a hit like Exmerce.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think as an entrepreneur, there's a bit of definitely a serial entrepreneur in me, and so top of mind just some of the projects. Bazingle, that was a video app. There was ShopNet TV, which was a value-add service for Exmerce members.
Is that still going?
We had put it on the back burner just because we just didn't have manpower, just resources to continue to build the business, but we're trying to resurrect it. There's this other project called NoNoBot, which was inspired by my son, so it's a robotics project, and I thought it'd be kind of a cool project to work with my son on. Those are some of the ventures that I've kind of worked on in the past, and like you said, not all has been successful, but you live and learn, as an entrepreneur, and the failures you learn. You learn from your mistakes.
Can we just touch on Bazingle briefly? What was that project and what happened?
Yeah, so Bazingle was a video app where small business owners could create their own short video using video loops, similar to that of like Vine.
Okay.
And so when a business would create these short videos, they could post offers or deals via the video app. And I think the big challenge with that project was just capital. Mm-hmm. So I'm not a mobile app developer, and that was definitely a significant cost, and which prevented us to continue to work on that project. So part of the challenge with starting up new businesses is really simply cash flow at the end of the day.
So you mentioned before that you were potentially going to spread, or you're spreading yourself a little too thin, and I know my parents always give me a hard time because I always have new ideas and new things I want to take on and start and work on, and I've had multiple people be like, no, you need to focus.
Right.
What advice do you have for people who are really energized by ideas and excited by ideas, but what advice do you have for them on staying focused on potentially one venture, or like several core ventures, instead of spreading yourself too thin?
Yeah, you know what? I think when you're thinking of starting other ventures, you definitely want to surround yourself with other people who have the know-how. So, if for example, with Bazingle, I think it would have been great if I had a partner who was a mobile app developer, and that could have helped tremendously. Oh, yeah. Whereas we really had to just source everything out. So I think building that core team would be important to perhaps maybe help provide a bit more focus there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get a little bit deeper here now.
Okay.
A lot of entrepreneurs, I think, get into businesses and they work really hard and they get really focused on their businesses. And I know a bunch of my friends have kind of the same story, that it takes a pretty hard toll on your personal life. And it sounds like it has to a degree for you as well. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, for sure. Actually, when I first started Exmerce, I was in a 10-year relationship. And I was just so focused on building the business that I completely, forgot, the importance of nourishing, my personal relationship with the girlfriend at the time. Mm-hmm. And so, that, certainly was, I think, kind of a hard pill to swallow. Those are things that you kind of live and learn, and so from that point, I definitely try to find a good work-life balance, and now that I have kids, especially, very important for myself to ensure that, I'm not always working. I work 9 to 5, that's it. And thereafter, I'm going to spend time with my kids. And also, I think it's important to take care of yourself as well. Going to the gym or just kind of doing your own personal thing, because, I think as an entrepreneur, there can be a lot of stress. You feel like the weight of the world's on you. For me personally, I enjoy working out or going for a run. These are things that just kind of helps de-stress me.
Have you found times in your life where you've kind of let that slide, the working out or the time with the family?
To be honest, I mean, there are times where, I might catch myself, when the kids are put down, working, and I could be working, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I catch myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing working? It's 2 o'clock in the morning, I should be sleeping. So I think there are moments where, I catch myself doing it, but, certainly I'm trying to be more diligent, not doing that. Again, just trying to take care of yourself first. I think that's important.
So did you end up marrying the person, your girlfriend, that at the time when you started Exmerce?
No, I didn't. I have 2 children, Noah and Noelle, and I guess it's part of my journey. I was married for nearly 7 years. We just, recently got divorced. I think that divorce, it's taught me, a number of things, and I think it's been a challenge for sure, this past year. But I think being an entrepreneur and just having that strong mindset, and always being optimistic, has certainly helped me through this. I think about the perseverance and, again, just getting through it. But yeah, it's certainly not been easier. But it's part of my journey.
I imagine around running a business and the kids and stuff, that divorce must have been incredibly stressful. What did you do to deal with that stress? Because I know a lot of people have things going on in their personal life and struggles that often really set them back or distract them from their business or their goals, even if they aren't business owners. So how did you deal with that stress? Because I know a lot of people don't deal with that well.
Right, for sure. You know what? For myself, I think it's surrounding yourself with positive people, surrounding yourself with people, just optimistic people. There's a saying that goes, you're the sum of the 10 people you hang around most. So,
yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy my time, hanging out with, other entrepreneurs or just people who have a drive and aspiration to create, whether it's success or some sort of achievement, people who are really go-getters. I think I get my energy from that, and so that's kind of helped me to not think about the whole kind of divorce process as well.
That's really good advice. Yeah, just surrounding yourself with positive people who will give you energy and
Absolutely,
make things better.
Sure. Totally.
Yeah, great. So where do you see Exmerce and yourself personally in the future, in the next 10, 20 years?
Right. So right now we're exploring evolving Exmerce into potentially a blockchain company. So, we're still doing a bit of research on that. So, the vision for Exmerce is, any small business, you're able to use the Exmerce currency, just no different than Visa or MasterCard, or, using regular cash currency,
Cool.
because we are our own virtual business currency.
Wow.
So that's the plan.
That's exciting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Very cool. Just to kind of wrap up, do you have any advice for new business owners, people just starting out, on whether it's focus or what the things they need to think about or surrounding themselves with the right people? What do you think is the one piece of knowledge that you've learned in the last 20 years that you can share that's valuable?
Top of mind, there's 2 things that kind of, come to mind. I think The first is surrounding yourself with other like-minded people. You know, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you know, find other entrepreneurs that you can surround yourself with. Sometimes I feel, why try to reinvent the wheel when, you know, someone may have already done it already, or, you know, maybe they're hugely successful, and you can learn a lot of things from what they've done to build their business. Mm-hmm. And I think the second thing is, I think it's important to maintain that balance in life. I think that work-life balance, you know, being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing. There's lots of highs and lows, ups and downs, and so still find the time to, you know, hang out with your friends or exercise or, you know, do things for yourself, because if you're not healthy, how are you able to, you know, operate your business? If your health or mind's not in the right place, it can be a tough go to be an entrepreneur, because it's not an easy road.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I think that's very important. Yeah, that's valuable. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, not my pleasure, and thanks for having me.